Well, it might be cold outside, but the action in stadiums around the country is hot. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the NBL1 show, thanks to Coles Express. I'm Megan Hustwaite. Pete Hooley, it is a bit cold outside.
It is cold outside, but it's not in here, hence the T-shirt. But what a round it was. We know it was First Nations round. The jerseys were phenomenal all across the country. There was a half-court game-winning buzzer beater. There was other buzzer beaters around. There was a backboard lob dunk in Central in about 3 seconds off the tip, which has probably never happened in the history of basketball unless it's a pickup game. So there's a lot to get through.
How are we going to condense it into one show and have two guests? We're about to find out.
Figure it out.
A few other things happening. As you mentioned, First Nations round was sensational to coincide with NAIDOC week. Hard to pick a favourite jersey, but if clubs stuck with them for the rest of the season, I think we'd be happy with that.
We say that every time about every
They're
time.
so
a different
good.
sport does it. It was awesome. I went down to watch Eltham versus Waverley and to see Eltham running around in their jersey, Waverley as well, with the welcome to country. It's a real special weekend for everybody, so it was good to be part of. And
some NBL1 players achieving some medals at higher honours. Good to see the 3-on-3 Australian teams featuring plenty of NBL1 talent over the weekend.
Yeah, it was great. The women's team, they came with silver, away with silver. There's the men's team. They won gold medal. Have a look at that lineup. And I believe the commentators said it was like your uncles at a barbecue running around, except for your uncles are still in shape. And all those uncles are definitely in shape. Daniel Johnson, a bit of a cheat code in 3x3. Oh. What a nice pickup that was. Jesse Wagstaff, not part of the NBL1, the only one who's not, but one MVP of that. So well done to them. Well done to the girls as well. Just fun to watch. I love how 3x3 is growing as well.
Yeah, can't wait to see the teams in action at the Commonwealth Games, which is coming up as well. We've got Boomers in Asia Cup, 7 NBL1 players representing the Boomers, which is amazing.
It's going to be fun, and a lot of youngsters, a couple of COE guys. Therese Proctor going to get a few more minutes in this one, so looking forward to that. Make sure you tune in to KO and ESPN to make sure you get all that fix.
And then some huge milestones at the weekend. 2 of our NBL1 players reached 300 games, which takes in, of course, formerly Seabull and State League. So congrats to Supercats Alex Duck on 300 games and Willetton Tigers Damien Scott. Pete, you're the professional player here at this desk and on this show. 300 games. It is so many games.
It's a lot of sore knees. That's the first thing that I can think of. So big congratulations to them, and I'm sure they've still got a few more left, but that is a really big honour.
Yeah, and I'm sure they've seen the competitions and State League basketball evolve to NBL1, so they've seen a lot over those journeys, that's for sure. Let's kick into action now. We'll start with NBL1 South, and the women Bendigo Braves escaped a very determined Knox outfit at the State Basketball Centre.
Did they? What? They're 12-2 now, and Tess Madgen, what a season she's putting together. 31 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and she had a nice little step-back dagger to get that. Knox's Alicia Froling, she had 23 points and 10 rebounds, and I think there's something special coming this week for the Froling name.
We might talk about that a bit later, but Tess Madgen, she'd have to be among the contenders, if not the favourite, for NBL1 South Women's MVP.
I mean, she's putting up big numbers night in and night out, close to big triple-doubles, 30-point triple-doubles every week. So, again, if you want to get past Bendigo, you're going to have to slow her down, and no one's done that so far.
Well, no one really gets past Mount Gambier. They went 1-1 on the weekend. They beat Diamond Valley, but then on Sunday they did lose to the Sabres, who won the game with the final score of 85-78 at home. Brittany Smart led the way with 25 points and 11 rebounds, while Funda Nakasoglu added 21 points. But they have been a consistent outfit all year, the Pioneers.
Well, they have. And again, we've spoken to the Pioneers group along this journey this season, how far they've come in such a short period of time. Matt Sutton at the helm. It's just a great thing to see. And again, I think that finals race is going to be really exciting to watch. And speaking of which, tied for third, the Geelong Supercats, they took care of business. We're going to have an Opals Watch segment because Sarah Blitzarves had 38 points, hit 5 threes, 10 rebounds and 5 assists in the 19-point win over Waverley. Having a very good season herself.
Yeah, and a win, as we mentioned, for Alex Duck in game 300. To the men's action now, stealing first on the ladder from Mount Gambier was Hobart. They went 2-0 in round 11.
Well, they did. And again, Hobart, they've loaded up the roster, so they should be, because they're playing some really good basketball. They beat Nuttawading 88-82. It was a true team effort. No one scored over 20 points. Harry Froling's doing wonderful things. He had 23 points in their game against Frankston. I'll give a quick shout out to my young fella, Jack Gandolfo from Nuttawading. Had an ankle breaker, sat the young fella down from Hobart as well, which is always good to see. You've got to throw a little highlight out there.
We'll talk about more Frolings later, but I think we're getting the 4 all mentioned today, so
It's what they do. I mean, they basketball through and through.
Yep. the family of domination. The third on the ladder, Sabres knocked off the Pioneers 92-79 at home on Sunday.
Shea Healy was a beast. He had 30 points and the rest of the starters all scored in double figures. Dave Barlow played a lot in this one, scoring in double figures. Mount Gambier, Nick Marshall, he had 28 points and 13 rebounds. And we talk about NBL1 South, women's MVP, the men's MVP race is heating up. Shea Healy's playing terrifically well. Nick Marshall's playing terrifically well. And probably our next guest is just slowly starting to put his name in a conversation for an emerging star. He's already a star, but he is playing some really good basketball.
Well, it's been a huge couple of weeks for the Eltham Wildcats men, hasn't it? They've caused a few upsets and they won in overtime at the weekend.
It was a big win against Northwest Tassie on Saturday night. Dan Kwani, he hit a clutch three to send it into overtime, but our next guest, he's the one who stole the show. He's having some sort of season, some sort of 2 weeks. Owen Foxwell had 38 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists and 6 steals. He was truly unstoppable in that game.
Well, the only thing bigger than Eltham's overtime win at the weekend was the performance of our next guest. Owen Foxwell joins us now. It was a big win, but you had a massive game in that win. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, it was a really good win. Fought back really hard. I felt really good in the first half. I think I only missed one shot, so felt good from the jump. Just came in, tried to play my role. Things were rolling. All the boys played really well to help us get over the line, especially in the last quarter. Dan Kwani hit a massive three to tie the game. So things kind of went our way. Got a few calls in the overtime too. So it's good to get another win against a good quality team.
Before we get stuck into your individual performance this season, talk to me about what changed with the team, because you were struggling, winless for a while, and that game at home against Frankston, where Frankston needed to win, they were on a bit of a slide. Everyone's expecting them to contend. You come away with a win there and then string a few together. What was the change, you think, in the way Eltham's been playing?
Well, I think we started like 0-8 as a group, but I think we'd be the youngest side in the league. I think we don't have anybody over the age of 26, 25. So it was kind of just working out where everybody sits in the team was a big part of that. And then everybody on the team just knows how to fight. Like all of our wins, we've had to claw it back, or we've always had to work really hard to win. Like the Gambier game, Gambier is a really tough team, and we were able to knock them off too. And I think we kind of just all pieced it together as a group. Everybody's found their role, and I think we've won our 4 out of our last 7 or something. So we're on a good high at the moment going into the back end of the season. Hopefully can carry that into next season.
And you can tell that your role has now been flourishing. You're coming off the bench in that 6th man, but you're playing starters minutes and you're performing like a starter. What has changed in your mindset? Because the highlights from our Gambier game look like you were having a lot of fun out there. We know the big performance you had of Northwest, but do you feel like you're in a really good space mentally right now when you go out on the court?
Yeah, for sure. I don't have a problem coming off the bench or whatever role the team wants me to play. I'm happy with that. Like if some other guys rolling, I'm happy to do whatever. And Craig's been great. He's told me that he has full confidence in me, and he just wants me to come in and do what I do really. And if that's coming off the bench, if that's starting, like the Gambier game I started because Short wasn't there, but he knows that I can provide what I do best if I'm coming off the bench or starting, and I'm happy doing that.
I love the attitude and mindset, and I think it's really good and really unselfish too for a young player. So I think a lot of players can take something out of that. What kind of things are you working on in terms of your game in this NBL1 campaign?
Well, also trying to learn a lot, like with the young group, trying to become a leader, especially at a young age myself. Like I'm going to try and take that back into the NBL season, try and develop that side of my game. Because I've always been known as a defender, kind of. I've always been able to score the ball, but the leadership side and making others better too is something I've always wanted to improve in my game, and I think that's something that I want to improve and get better. So this is a great place to do that.
Before we touch on your stint with the Phoenix as a development player, I want to ask you, because you've obviously seen the highlights from the Northwest game. If you haven't watched the whole game already, and the commentators, you had a couple of back-to-back steals. One of the commentators said, if only you could dunk. Now, you just came back from the Mount Gambier game, and we know that one of those hoops down there end is low. Can you dunk on that Mount Gambier one?
Yeah, I can dunk. I can dunk normally, but I was just guaranteeing the 2 points. Sometimes it doesn't go my way.
See, I'm
so-
selfish.
Well, speaking of dunking, what is it like running around and playing on a team with Josh Sykes? I played pickup with him a few years ago. You throw it anywhere, he's going to go and get it.
Yeah, that man's insane. Like, he's the next level athlete. Like, every time he catches the ball, I think he's going to dunk on someone. So he's really fun to play with.
Well, let's talk about some more of your teammates because there's some great talent in your team. And as you said, everyone's sort of learnt their role now and are fighting. Tell us about, some of the guys that you're on court with.
Yeah, all the boys are great. From all the way in the starters to the other guys on the bench. Like, everybody's got talent. And I think that's what we've all worked out. Like, Sam Short, he's an incredible leader. I think he deserves an NBL contract. I think he's a great player. I think he's awesome. Mitch Dance as well. He knows how to score the ball. He's a strong boy. Everybody just plays a role, and I think that's what we've worked out. Even Ovi Magball, his rebounding and work ethic is incredible as well. Sam Whelan is also an awesome leader too. I think we've got lots of great pieces, and just a few more pieces, if we can add, would go a long way. And I think we could be really competitive in this league.
Well, after watching your game against Waverley, you fell short, but I can second all those thoughts that you just had there. Talk to us a little bit about your development season with the Phoenix, development player, but it wasn't just your usual development player season, because at some point, Simon Mitchell's had a conversation with you saying, I'm going to throw you into a game, not just any game, a throwdown. You hit a 3 in the corner of the Melbourne United bench as well. How did it feel? He obviously spoke to you saying you're going to play some minutes. Were you nervous in that game, or were you just eager to get out there?
A little bit. I was a bit nervous. He called me in the day of, and he was like, obviously I had the lead up to under 20 nationals, so he was like, I will see if I can get you in. So I wasn't really expecting much, to be honest. But then it was like early in the first quarter that he called me in, or maybe it was the second quarter. I can't remember, but I was like, I didn't expect it to be that early, and so I've gone in. I have to pick up Shea Illy full court in a throwdown. So it was pretty surreal. And then when the ball came my way, I just didn't try and think about it, just let it go, and it went down. So awesome moment. But I'm so thankful for Simon having that confidence in me to go out there and perform.
Now, we're always on watch of people's Instagram, so I was investigating yours and your stories last night. No, it's nothing. It's not about a pet or anything. Usually I like to talk about guests' dogs, but have you got a family member that's representing in nationals at the moment? Tell us a bit about basketball and the family.
Yeah, so I've got 2 brothers, 2 younger brothers. One's 2 years younger than me and one's 4 years younger than me. Joel, the one that's 2 years younger than me, he played in the under-18 nationals in Ballarat earlier in the year, and he won silver. And then Austin, he just came back from Perth, and they won gold under 16s.
So is the competitiveness running through? You've got a little pickup games going, little shooting games. Are you making sure that these younger brothers know, look, it's not your time yet. I'm still a young one as well, and I've got a lot to go in my career?
No, they know who's on top, so they kind of say they're late. But no, we used to play a lot of games too. My dad used to join in too. I haven't played in a while. I need to get back to it. But over COVID, there was a lot of games running in the backyard. So yeah, it's great. It's great. They're both extremely talented, and hopefully they can play professionally in the future. I think they have the game to do it. So I look forward to hopefully playing with them maybe.
Well, that'd be fun because you definitely have the game for a big future ahead. Looking forward to seeing what happens in your career. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck for Eltham for the rest of the season, but good luck personally another season for development player for the Phoenix and then a big career ahead. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Time to check in with NBL1 East action now. And as we do every week, Pete, let's start with the GOAT.
GOAT is back. That's all we wanted to see. She had a couple of games where she missed, and they smashed Manly 97-54 on Saturday. She had 33 points, 16 rebounds in just 24 minutes. She's doing what she does best against North on Sunday. After a doubleheader weekend, she had 28 points and 8 rebounds. so fun to watch, and I'm sure everybody sitting in the stands, even the opposition, at times would slip into these little moments like, man, this is so fun, except when you lose by 40 because she's dominating.
And the news too, we've spoken about the Opals a bit today. They're off to New York at the end of the month. LJ will be part of that squad after coming through with flying colours at the camp in Canberra 2 weeks ago. So great news there. Just want to do a quick shout out to James O'Donoghue Photography. We have amazing media that cover NBL1 in terms of themselves for outlets. We might shout out a few every week because they do such a terrific job, but his photos are A1 and he's been capturing all the great snaps of the GOAT this season and all the NBL1 East action. So good on you, James. We'll move on now. Oh, actually, before we move on, we'll talk about East Finals because they do coincide with the FIBA Women's World Cup in Sydney. Now, we know Unique Thompson, love that name, reckon it's the best name in NBL1 too. She's playing for Albury and has made a really good start to her NBL1 career. Is she going to have to step up? Should LJ be?
Well, if LJ's not going to be there, if she's running around for the Opals, she's going to have to step up because we know that every team's coming for Albury, whether the GOAT's playing or not. So I'm assuming Thompson can fill that. She averaged 24.5 points and nearly 15 rebounds over round 13 as well. So it'll be interesting. It'll be some sort of adapting period, no doubt about it.
Well, Sutherland are second on the ladder and they will benefit from Lauren Nicholson missing out on the Opals team for Women's World Cup because that means she'll be part of their finals action and she's been playing a huge part to this day.
Oh, she's been dominating, doing what she does best. 23 points, 7 assists and 5 rebounds without Vanessa Panousis, who wasn't playing. And unfortunately missing out on the Opals means we get to watch her in NBL1. Superstar, MVP watch, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we love Loz. Third on the ladder, Newcastle Falcons beat the Hornets at home 64-46.
Kyra Evans, she was unstoppable, had 27 points and 9 rebounds. Emily Foy struggled to make the same impact she made last week, but Newcastle, they're going to be a really tough team to beat come finals.
Let's look at men's action now, and Bankstown, they might be bottom of the ladder, but they had a wonderful weekend.
Starting to play some pretty good basketball. They pulled off 2 wins this weekend. They beat Illawarra on Saturday by 39 in the Snake Pit. On Sunday, they beat Manly at home 94-87. Lockie Anderson had a big round 13, had 66 points across the 2 games.
8th placed Hill Hornets knocked off Newcastle at home on Saturday 55-54. It's coming down to the business end of the season and we are seeing a lot of nail biters.
Well, these games all matter. You're exactly right. When it comes to finals, it could be a percentage, it could be 1 point here and there. And the top of the ladder, the Canberra Gunners, they've beaten Inner West by 21 points. William Mayfield had 25 points and 6 assists. Next week, they'll take on the Bruins, who have won 3 of their last 4, but they've only won 5 games in total. So looking forward to seeing how that one shapes, looking forward to seeing how the East final shape as well.
And you can see that game 2 p.m. Saturday on NBL1.com.au, where all the action is. As we go north now, there's plenty of action at Townsville. Speaking of Opals, we've been talking about them all show. Alana Smith is firing up for Townsville.
Oh, what a mid-season pickup that is. She is having some sort of performance since she came in. 44 points, she hit 5 threes to go with 13 rebounds and 3 blocks. They had a big win over the Seahawks. Opal's teammate Steph Reed had 11 points and 15 assists, so they're having some fun and they're becoming one of the best duos in the NBL1.
I bet Townsville wish they had Alana for WNBL because a lot of that Townsville NBL1 team will be playing for the Fire in WNBL. Speaking of WNBL talent, let's take a look at the Northside Wizards. They're showing how dangerous their superstar duo can be. With Shyla Hill back in the side, she had 28 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists, while Tiana Mangakahir had 41 points, a triple-double with 12 assists, 10 rebounds and 6 steals.
What a year she is having. Now, again, we're going to talk about NBL1 North MVP race, and with Kayla George, we think would be leading that right now because she had a big game herself this weekend. But Tiana, what a game that is, but she is having a really good season herself. And in Logan, they're still undefeated. I'm not sure who's going to be able to beat them. Michaela Roof had 15 points, 25 rebounds and 10 assists. NBL1 North has become the triple-double central.
Well, speaking of Townsville, Roof is playing for Townsville in WNBL, as we spoke to her about a few weeks ago. Shannon Seabom is the opposition coach at the moment, but he'll be loving what he's seeing from his new recruit. Let's take a look at men's action now. Geordie Hunt is one of our favourites, and it's great to see him back doing his thing.
Oh, he just looks like he's having fun out there, which is the most important thing when you come back over an extended layoff. He averaged 24 points, 10.5 rebounds and just under 5 assists, and just under 4 blocks as well. They beat Townsville Heat on Friday, lost to the Salties on Saturday. But again, every time you see him out there, he's smiling, he's having fun, he's an infectious character and gearing up for what I think will be a big NBL season for him.
Another narrow result with the Southern District Spartans beating Mackay by 86 to 85. We love McDowell Whites on this show. Tell us about the one that starred.
Well, Kobe, he had 30 points, and the 1-13 Spartans, they beat a top 2 side. That should be the storyline of the game. But Jalen Galloway, that dunk right there, it exploded on socials. So we're seeing some of the best dunks. I think we already crowned Dunk of the Year in round 1 from the Salties, and now we're going to have a bit of competition. So we might have to get a vote going on there. But he is also playing some really good basketball. Jalen Galloway had 28 points as well.
And at the top of the ladder in North, the Gold Coast Rollers went 1-1 on the weekend. On Saturday, they beat the Wizards without Mitch McCarron or Keanu Pinder.
Yeah, they beat them 93 to 86. They lost to Logan on Sunday by 18. Kadee averaged over 10 assists in round 11. Are they still the best team in North? We'll find out. Players in and out of the league, as we mentioned, with the Boomer stuff going on. Only 3 wins separate first and sixth, so North's finals are going to be fun to watch down the stretch.
Finals are going to be fun to watch in NBL1 Central as we start with the women. Some familiar names always in Central, but some new names to talk about this week stepping up.
Well, there is. We'll start off with North Adelaide. They beat the Mavs by 12. Peyton Taylor, she had 26 points and 10 rebounds. And Taylor Moffat, she had one-handed bank shot. Was one of the best highlights you'll see this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. The two sides gave it their all on Friday night. The Bearcats won 65 to 60. Sky Langenbrink had 23 points, while teammate Madeline Uti had 7 points and 17 boards. Off the bench, well, I'll let you mention her because she's one of your faves.
Splash Spencer had 21 points, just instant offense coming off the bench. And the 6th place Southern Tigers beat 3rd place Sturt by 4 points. Demi Skinner had 30 points and 8 rebounds. Molly McKendrick had 23 points and 18 rebounds. So there's a few glass cleaners going around in the women's in Central.
To the men's results now. Tied for second, South Adelaide Panthers safely beat the Bearcats on Friday night 87 to 67.
Jeremy Smith had 26 points and 8 rebounds, but it was Nate Shepherd who had the biggest moment of the night. Big dunk over Cody Ellison. I'm allowed to say that because he was one of my South Australian teammates, Cody Ellison. You know better than to jump with that.
The two Titans of Central faced off Saturday night as Woodville lost to the Forestville Eagles 108 to 79.
Big win for the Eagles. No Daniel Johnson, who's running around for 3x3, and Jack Purchase, he had a big game, had 31 points. Malif Machar had 32 points and 17 rebounds. As we mentioned, though, this game, if you haven't seen the highlight, jump online onto your socials. It was about 3 seconds off the tip, a backboard alley-oop. You've probably never seen it in a basketball game before, and it was really fun to watch.
Could be the biggest weekend of highlights we've had this season, which is saying something,
keeps getting bigger and bigger. We've got so many games to catch up on, so there's always going to be something.
The third place North Adelaide Rockets got a win over the Mavericks 95 to 76.
Terry Wynn had 35 points and 13 rebounds in the win. The top 4 teams in Central are within 3 games of each other, and the finals are going to start to heat up there as well.
Oh, it's getting exciting, isn't it?
I can't wait to see. I keep saying it. I know you think I sound like a broken record.
No, it's my favourite part of the show.
The finals race, and then when we actually get to the national playoff, it's going to be so fun because we've been building up for years, and we finally have it. Hopefully no COVID interruptions. Touch wood. That's not wood, so I might be in a bit of trouble there.
Let's go to NBL1 West to finish off. Joondalup, oh my goodness. Could you have got 2 bigger, more jaw-dropping results for the men's and women's sides?
We're going to chat to one of their stars, but we'll have a look there in the little game winner, and you thought that might have been it for the weekend. Of course it wasn't. We'll get on to the men's a bit later. The Warwick Senators and Willetton Tigers have both locked in their finals positions. Warwick beat Rockingham 94 to 79. Willetton smashed the Redbacks. And the Women's West is the only conference to have finals teams locked in, and now 3 teams have clinched it. But there's the first bit of excitement on the women's side, and as we mentioned, we'll talk about the men's side in a little bit.
It's been a huge couple of weeks. The Coburn Cougars have escaped with a win against the Perry Lakes Hawks 77 to 75 on Friday night. Another super close result.
Well, the 8-5 Cougars are well in the hunt to join 3 other teams in finals. Catherine Tudor drove to the basket with 7 seconds left to win the game for Coburn. And you mentioned the Wolves, they're 15-0 and they just don't seem to lose. It's unbelievable. They just find a way to win. Maybe a loss will do them good before they get to the finals, but who knows? Maybe we have to chat to one of their stars.
We will in just a moment, but is it the Taj Morel Effect? We spoke about this last week.
Or another one, just an infectious personality. We spoke to her last season on this show, and she's enjoying when she plays, and everywhere she goes, success seems to follow. She's playing really well, but the team seems to play really well as well.
Well, speaking of stars, it's time to catch up with one from that very team as we welcome Robbie Ryan. Take us through the emotions after the buzzer at the weekend.
I was just so excited. We grinded out the whole game, and it was just play by play. And we obviously were down the whole game. So to pull out the win like that, it was pretty exciting.
And it's just been the story of the season for you guys. You can't seem to lose. You're just playing some really good basketball. What's been the secret to success this season?
I think it has to do with just how close our team is and the character of our team. We definitely have had a lot of challenges. We had 4 players out from COVID. Our coach was out from COVID, didn't practice all week. But I think our toughness and our ability just to push through adversity, that has really helped us all season so far.
And normally when a team's going on a run like this in the season, as we get towards finals, everyone's saying maybe a loss will do them good to be able to really snap back into the focus. Do you feel like that might be coming, or do you feel like the focus has slipped a little bit? Or have you got to a point now where you're like, hang on, we could actually go through this season undefeated. We could play this way heading into finals, and these are a challenge for us as we get ready for the finals?
Yeah, a few people have brought that up. But I mean, I go into every game trying to win. It's kind of a game-by-game thing. So if we keep going undefeated, that's great. If a loss happens, I know we'll bounce back. But it's just kind of a game-by-game thing.
How much confidence does the team take from winning from all sorts of positions? Because you have won in a whole different heap of styles amongst this undefeated run.
I think it does give us confidence that we're able to find different ways to win. And once again, just shows how tough we are and our ability just to stay with things. Because I think there's been multiple times where we probably could have folded in games, but we just stayed together. I think that's the biggest key. We don't ever turn on each other. So we just stick together and push through and find ways to win.
Now, you've had a college experience, which we'll touch on a little bit. So we're gearing towards, this is going to be the first year we have a national playoff competition. You obviously have to win your conference first, but it's kind of like a March Madness feel, but on a smaller level. Has there been any talk? Is anybody following? There's another undefeated women's team over in the NBL1 North. Logan are undefeated. Has anybody mentioned how they're going as potential a dream finals matchup?
I have not, actually. Yeah, I don't know, but... wherever we end up, I know I'll be excited, whoever we play.
Tell us a bit about playing with Taj Morel. She is a dominant force. She was in Central last season and was one of our guests on the show, but she's continued her great season. What's she like as a teammate out there?
Taj is the best. Taj is the sweetest human. So supportive, has such great energy. We actually have a few basketball friends in common back home since basketball is such a small world, and everybody that knows her just loves her. She has infectious just personality. Yeah, she's great to be around.
Well, it's obviously easy to enjoy yourself when you're playing as well as you are, both personally and as a team. But how are you finding the overall experience in NBL1 West?
It's great. Yeah, I've been loving Perth. I've been loving the community I've been in, and the club has been great. My teammates are awesome. They're so great. So we have a good time.
So you're a young, promising player, we know, with a huge, bright career ahead. What are your aspirations? You are in Australia. Would you like to play in the WNBL? Would that be a goal possibly?
Yeah, if that opportunity comes about, that'd be awesome. I love it here. But yeah, whatever basketball opportunities come my way, I'll be thankful to have.
Well, I've got to ask you, so what is your downtime consist of? When you're not training, when you're not running around and playing, what do you try and get up to? What do you do to relax?
I like to go exploring. I just went to Calgary National Park. Actually, that's where I'm coming back from.
I love that.
I have a great housemate that takes me around to see things, and yeah, that's about it. Explore.
Well, life's pretty good. On top of the ladder, undefeated. Your smile's pretty good as well. I reckon that's the best smile going around in NBL1. It's been great to watch you on court. We wish you all the best for the rest of the season and whatever it may hold for you and the Wolves. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Well, Pete, we have great guests each and every week on the NBL1 show. It's hard to pick a favourite, but I loved the energy, the youth, enthusiasm and the big smiles of our guests.
Well, I knew you'd say that because I know how much you enjoy when we had Jack McVeigh. You talk about Mr. Positive, Mr. Happy. He kind of set the tone for, I think, everyone in basketball. So those two definitely fit that bill, but both got playing very good and looking forward to seeing how their careers personally, but especially the Wolves. I want to see them go all the way. I want to see them go undefeated, get that national final. And I can't believe no one's mentioned Logan. If you're in the Wolves camp, surely you're thinking, oh, this is great, but there's another team that's undefeated.
Crying
Let's hope they
them off.
lose first. They would have spoken about
Yeah.
that. She's just lying.
She was just lying. Let's keep the Joondalup theme going as we have a look at NBL1 West men's action.
Well, we thought the women's game was crazy enough. Here's the Marshall Nelson miss, and then watch this. So the women's had a buzzer beater win pretty much, and this to win the game. And it was never looked like missing. And imagine that. You're there for the first game and you're like, well, that's unbelievable. You don't often see a game that comes down to the wire. And I'm not sure if we're still in some sort of COVID restrictions, but you should be able to rush the court. If a half-court buzzer beater, they're so rare. There's got to be something where you can rush the court. I'm probably getting in trouble for saying that because we still are under some COVID restrictions, but have some fun.
Maybe in Western Australia. Coburn defeated Perry Lakes in another close game. My goodness, they came thick and fast.
Huge three from Hawks' Ryan Smith put the game to single possession, but Carter Skaggs, now we had him on the show a few weeks ago. He had 38 points, hit 12 of 14 from three to go along with 9 rebounds. He cannot miss. He took a lot of heat checks. I was looking at the highlights. Super fun to watch. And another one who's got a really bright career ahead of him.
Absolutely. The top of the West suffered a big loss to the 9th placed Redbacks on Saturday. And as much as we've got close results, this is the time of the season when big upsets can happen and the lower teams capture major scalps.
That's exactly right. That's why you can't take any night off. And the Redbacks is Jeremy Grace. We spoke to him last season, had 27, 6, 5 rebounds and 3 steals, handing the Buccaneers just their second loss of the season.
And as we mentioned, Damien Scott, 300 games at the weekend, so congratulations again. We can't mention the milestone men and women enough.
I know, it's great. 300 games, it's a lot. And we'll talk a little bit about the wild card that's going on. Sunday, the COE, they fell short to Perry Lakes by 10 points. No Therese Proctor, he's away with the Boomers. But Rory Hawke, we keep talking about him every time we mention the wild card. And the COE, he had 21 points and 10 rebounds. Another bright emerging star.
Bright emerging stars from the NBL1 and NBL on offer in Summer League. Great to see players that play in this competition. They're all over the world doing their thing right now.
Oh, it's great to see. I mean, just recently we saw Jack White. He had 15 rebounds in 21 minutes running around for the Supercats. So there's a lot of guys out there. Dejan Vasiljevic, he's running around for the Suns. Calder Gack as well. Dyson Daniels, I think, has been removed from the rest of Summer League, unfortunately doing his ankle. But in a weird way, it kind of mirrors what happened to Josh Giddey the last season in the Summer League, hurting his ankle in the first game. Things turned out well for Giddey. I'm sure they'll turn well for Dyson.
Well, the main event happens this weekend in NBL1 South. Twin v Twin, right v left, Keeley v Alicia. Froling v Froling, how do you see it playing out, Peter Hooley?
Look, normally I would have to give Keeley the nod, but Alicia's a different beast when she's going left-handed. So, look, I'm jumping on the Alicia train. If you want to take the Keeley train, that's fine, but I'll jump on the Alicia train.
So should we have a wager on this? Of course, bet responsibly.
We'll chat to Coles Express, maybe some donuts or something.
Yep, donut and a coffee next week.
Yeah, and I'll take my little backup. My little backup will be Harry Froling having a double-double if that doesn't happen.
You can't have it each way.
I can do it.
You can't have your donuts from Coles Express and eat them too.
Well, I'm going to do that.
All right, well, I'm going to take Keeley.
Alicia, don't let me down.
See you next week.
It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!